Good morning and welcome to Applied Day 2018. My name is Eric Miller. I'm the Technical Resources Manager here at Applied Engineering, and you've joined the session for What's New in Vault 2019. Just to kind of recap, I guess, the next, and I know some of you maybe attended the Inventor one earlier this morning, so thank you for that. And hopefully you'll get some valuable information out of the Vault What's New. Just to let you know the rest of the schedule. At 11 o'clock today, we're going to do the AnyCAD workflow from Fusion to Inventor. And then tomorrow at 9, it'll be related to software development strategies. And tomorrow at 10, the Impact Dakota, preparing for the Industrial Internet of Things presentation. And then at 11, our services side will go through the engineering landmines, how to avoid and overcome them. So that's kind of the schedule for Applied Day days. I know we've got a kind of a 2-day event going on here, so I do appreciate you attending, and hopefully you're able to take something away from these presentations. If you do have questions, we'll have some time at the end of today's or this specific presentation regarding Vault, and I'll certainly, if I can't answer them right off the bat, I'll try to get those back to you. So be email or correspondence after that. So let's move through here. So a couple slides. So again, what's new in Vault 2019? I think you'll notice if you did attend the Inventor side, you'll notice some similarities as far as we're trying to get connected. You'll see that with Vault as well, as far as some of the tools that they've added in. Collaboration with people outside of Vault. You'll notice some capabilities there, and then we'll touch on just some other enhancements I think that should be definitely useful. Before we jump into that, I just want to talk a little bit about Applied Engineering. If you're an existing customer, we thank you for your business. If you're a potential new customer, we'll show you a little bit about what Applied Engineering is, what we're all about, I guess. So the pillars here: top talent, total technology, and absolute adaptability. I think we've got a great team of designers, developers, our sales team. Everybody here is, we're customer driven. So I think if there's a need that you have, maybe there's even if it's just a short project, maybe a couple of weeks or a month, we can help with a lot of that stuff. Or maybe you need to connect two pieces of your internal system as far as integrating some software or an application. We've got a team that sort of specializes in that as well. So any of those needs you have, reach out to us, and I think we can help. I do have a short little video here that I'm going to play regarding the overview of Applied. So it just takes just a couple minutes, so I'll run that now.
Whether you're talking about a team of people or mechanical parts of a machine, one thing is certain: in order to work properly, they have to fit. A square peg in a round hole? Nope. Oil and water? Not going to happen. Applied Engineering, it's our business to make sure that we fit with your plans, people, and projects, and in sync with the culture of your company and according to your specific needs. We achieve this by combining top talent, total technology, and absolute adaptability, creating a custom solution just for you, when you need it and where you need it. Why Applied Engineering? We thought you'd never ask. You see, the speed of business can be a complicated mosaic of custom software, machines, and computers, and sometimes you need a team of professionals to help you navigate it. That's where we fit in. It takes the right people with some of the best minds in the business to help you turn your ideas and dreams into physical products. Our talent will help you implement industry-leading design and manufacturing software, saving you time and money throughout your design and manufacturing process. We reduce the paper pileup by digitally scanning your large format drawings and blueprints and making them searchable and accessible. We install and support industry-leading servers, storage, backup, and networking equipment to help keep your data secure, accessible, and efficient. All while working with our team of engineers and your product development team to design your products fitting within your timelines and budgets. Then we work with your manufacturing team to improve processes, design tooling, optimize workflow, and increase efficiency. And to increase overall productivity, our programmers will write custom software to replace spreadsheets, secure your data, and give you the information you need when and where you need it. Plus, we won't ever leave you in the dark by using buzzwords or industry jargon that doesn't make sense. We're the only firm with the talent and technology to fit your project, your process, and your culture. Our ability to be adaptable to any work situation allows you access to our technical experts directly, so support for your engineering and technology systems is only a phone call away. We also offer standard classroom training on a variety of engineering software, as well as customized training to fit your unique needs. Visit one of our training centers, or we'll bring our mobile training lab to your site. With IT expertise, software integration, as well as concept, design, simulation, and production consultation and training, we virtually and literally support every facet of your product's lifecycle. Applied engineering is the modern solution to your engineering, design, or IT challenges. Our dedication and commitment to fitting your timeline, budget, and specific project scope is something we stand proudly behind today and have since we started doing business in 1986. We are the only firm with the talent and technology to fit your project, your process, and your culture every time. Visit GoApplied.com to learn more about how we can help you or how you can join our team.
Okay, well, that hopefully gives you a little bit of an idea of some of the other capabilities. If you're already a customer, even you might be just working on the technology side. We've got a whole other side of the business that can provide services. And one thing I would change about that video is the little guy pulling the training lab. That I'm assuming that's me. He's wearing glasses, and I typically wear contacts. So I guess I'll have to talk to somebody about getting that updated. But other than that, it's pretty accurate. So anyway, again, my name is Eric Miller. I manage our Tech Resources group here. That's the group we kind of do implementations on software, training, support, a few projects here and there, demos and stuff like that. So that's if you have any software needs, that's typically through our sales team and my I guess our team, my team. That's who you'll typically be working with. My background's in engineering. I kind of have I guess worked on construction, ag equipment is primarily as far as the back in the design days, which we still get to do a little bit of that here and there, which on our team, which is nice. But used a variety of tools, different CAD packages, different data management tools. So I think hopefully I can help you get the right system in place if you're seeing any needs there. All right, so with Vault, we're going to talk about the 2019 capabilities that they've added, talk a little bit about collaboration. They've tried to make that streamline, some of the productivity improvements, enhanced administrative experience. They before it was, I think a couple versions ago, it used to be just administrator was the only role capable. Then they added some stuff like a project administrator, a few other roles that are more admin, and now it's actually kind of nice if you're constantly going in there giving people different roles or not sure what to give certain people. I mean, it's real flexible now, so we'll talk about that a little bit too. Again, there's some questions at the end. There's also some handouts. If you go to the webinar right, that you can kind of expand and contract. There should be some handouts that you can download there, some PDFs as far as a little bit more about Applied and upcoming training schedule. But yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to put those into the webinar. This is just a listen only thing, but I'll try to answer those at the end. Okay, so let's get into what's new within Vault. Obviously, Vault is a Autodesk data management tool. There's 3 different editions of it. There's the basic, which just comes with when you buy Inventor or buy AutoCAD or a lot of other Autodesk products. Vault Basic comes with and it's free. So I mean, some of our customers that are still just trying to get by using Windows to store files and not having any control who's working on what or any visibility there or searchability, those types of things are what Vault Basic is meant to do. I mean, I would say if you haven't thought about it, definitely get in touch with me. I encourage you to think about utilizing a data management solution. It's much easier to implement and install, I think, than maybe some realize. After about a day or two of implementation and training, you can kind of be up and running. So I think there's lots of value there. All right, so here are some of the key things that Autodesk built into Vault 2019. I guess I mentioned Vault Basic. There's also Vault Workgroup, and then there's Vault Professional. Each of those add a little bit more to these, your tool belt, I guess. Vault Professional, I would say, is our most popular option. I realize it is the most expensive, but they, as far as the value compared to what you get out of the Workgroup or the free version is, I think it exceeds, the extra cost there. With the thin client, bill of material management, change orders, all that stuff is built right into Vault Professional. But anyway, yeah, the collaboration is something they actually added it, part of it anyway, in some of the last releases or updates for 2018. So if you have the most recent version of 2018 updated, you probably see the shared views already, which if you attended the Inventor one, it's a similar process there. But we'll talk about some other capabilities as well. Productivity improvements, so we'll look at some of that stuff. Enhanced administrative experience, like I mentioned, you can customize the roles now for admins. All right, so let's take a look at the Streamline external collaboration first. So the idea here is that we want to be able to work more easily, collaborate more easily with suppliers, customers, maybe people at other sites, different departments. With Vault Pro, you have the thin client, which is nice, right? Everybody in your company can access that. If they can get, if you're inside your firewall through just a web browser, they can go find a drawing, find a part, find a bill of material, those kind of things. So that's really, extends, Vault beyond just the engineering group. And obviously that's kind of what it's geared towards is the design engineering for checking in, checking out. But the more they've, kind of matured the product over time, the more they've kind of added some of these things that can really help other departments, and not just, make it a phone call to the designer, say, hey, what's the dimension here, or why did you do this or that? They can go out and find the information themselves and, free up the designers, engineers for doing stuff that they, that they're good at. All right, so delivering files, collaborating on designs are some of the things here too with this new connected environment. And again, I get it. Cloud is this connectivity a lot of times deals with working with the cloud, but that's really the easiest way to send information to people outside of your doors, your walls. It's a great way. It's proven, I think. So I'm not saying you have to jump into it head first, but give it a shot. See what you think. The Autodesk viewer is a free viewer for anybody to use. It's not real difficult. I think it's real user friendly. So some of those methods for sharing data and collaborating are great. So I kind of mentioned that already. The Autodesk viewer is the online tool that it's cloud-based, but we can send our views out there. It's got a kind of a ticker on it almost, like those views will expire after so many days. So that's the nice thing too. It's not just out there forever. It uses sort of the visualization file for Vault, so you're not just sending out your IPT or IAMs like your actual design data. It's a little more lighter view, so that it's harder for somebody to maybe potentially steal any of that data, or for if you send it to a supplier, they can't just copy it and send it off to one of their maybe some of the other people they're working with. So you can kind of trust that it's fairly locked down. But the nice thing is there too, you can send just a copy a link. So this is the view to create a shared view. It's the same one we see in Inventor. It's a common environment throughout all these other programs. So it says when creating views, we're trying to publish, the IPTs and IAMs are now available, so we can send, the shared view anyway for that, which is a lighter visualization of it. But we can copy that link and email it to somebody too, which is pretty handy. And you can control who has access to what typically with some of these. If and that's where Autodesk Drive comes in. You can add, permissions and stuff like that to, different team members, to who has access to download the file. Because then when you talk about Autodesk Drive, you are storing the IPT, the IMs. Those are cloud based, where it's the entire design. So if you send an assembly out there, you need all the components as well to be able to do much with it, or be able to work, check it out and synchronize back to it. Let's see. Yeah, and then we talk about, we'll show the pack and go as well. So with Autodesk Drive, the pack and go is a way to take a lot of data from Vault, send it out to Autodesk Drive, so that others can view it there, that you give access to. So so this is kind of sort of the workflow here. The project manager can set up on Autodesk Drive, specific folders where we're storing things. You can use design or pack and go to send the files out. You'll notice in the pull down for send to, used to be just like mail, recipient, destination folder. Now you have Drive and Fusion 360. Now there is, excuse me, in order to utilize, excuse me, some of those products, starting to lose my frog in my throat here a little bit, but excuse me. There is a connector that needs to be installed in order to utilize some of this functionality, but it kind of walks you through that. If you open up Autodesk Drive, there's a section there to download that, that connector in order to synchronize these things back and forth. Okay, so just kind of showing the manufacturing supplier and then the design engineer, project manager all have capabilities there to, access the design data and then update it from the Vault, share it out to that Autodesk Drive. Okay, so the other method to fully synchronize uses the Fusion 360 application as well. So the previous ones, we were just kind of using the Autodesk Viewer and Autodesk Drive. This collaboration, in order to actually kind of send or check in, check out, and synchronize data automatically, that's using a project sync function that was just built in. That uses the Fusion 360 interface for that. So some of the things that, these are just showing some suppliers and customer kind of testimonials here, but they needed an easy and triggered way for design engineers to share project-related up-to-date release design files with outside suppliers or customers for consumption. So this project sync does that. You can connect from your Vault out to, Fusion and allow others to, see that data, and then if they make a change, you can synchronize it back to the Vault. That's kind of the key aspect there, is it's bi-directional. Okay, so that's just kind of showing again, using the project sync, and takes the view, the data from Fusion or from Vault, synchronizes and makes sure everybody's looking at the same thing. So this is kind of the interface for that. There is a video for this, out there if you do want to see it, but if you are a Vault admin, you've probably been into this Vault settings many times under Tools, Administration, Vault Settings. You go to Collaborate, and that's where you can set up your, set up your projects. I think this is, they're showing it there, but it's actually a different interface underneath that folder, so they're not actually showing what you see there, but unfortunately anyway, I can show it once I get into the live system. But you go to Collaborate, and then you can set up your projects and allow, you can kind of set times for when you want it to sync, or just have it manual sync. So you got to click a button in order to synchronize those files. So bidirectional, it's CAD awareness and folder links support. You can share selective data. So the project sync, and the other nice thing is it utilizes the job processor. So in the background, this is happening. And the processor has also been kind of enhanced with 2019, utilizing the Inventor processor as well. So that's, should speed things up a little bit as far as, getting those jobs processed. Okay, let's take a look at some of the other productivity enhancements for Vault. The first one, I guess, to look at here is utilizing the BOM page within Inventor. So, it's a great way to make, I always tell people, Vault is great for making bulk changes. whether it's in, a bunch of different parts, bunch of different assemblies, not all connected. You can do a search, save a search folder, and then update properties, for all of those, whether it might be, the description or the project number or the, who created, the designer, maybe you're going to update those properties. Doing it in bulk is definitely the way to go, and Vault is good for that. Prior to this, if you weren't using Vault, the best way to do it was within that Inventor BOM section. So that's if you go to Manage within Inventor, select the BOM page or the BOM tool, it pops open your assembly and shows all the parts and components underneath that assembly. So this is where you could make updates there, but when you're using Vault, obviously these are all they were kind of locked. You couldn't, you could check out the file and still update here, but now what you can do from this BOM page is do a right click on a certain amount of files, and notice there's a Vault heading there where you can do the checkout right from the BOM page. So, it just helps kind of make things another spot where it's easier to do bulk changes, update those, and then if you're kicking out a spreadsheet, from the BOM page, that's another, nice way to generate information and maybe send it off to a different group from there. Let's see, ignore obsolete state, send folder link to share folder content. So that's more of the shared view there to share a folder. All right, so another, if you're using the bill of material section of Vault, and I would say it's maybe 50% of our customers use the BOM section. A lot of them have other, systems that they use. Maybe the designers aren't necessarily, updating the BOM and getting it filled out before it goes into the ERP system. It just depends on the company, but I would, if you have a long drawn out process for that right now, or maybe it's a separate application, I would consider, utilizing, or at least checking it out, the BOM capabilities within Vault. The nice thing about that is, you convert your entire CAD structure into a bill of materials, and then you can manipulate it right within Vault. And then from there, you can send it out, export it to your ERP system. And there are some, out of the box, it's more of an export import of a spreadsheet or an XML file, whatever it might be, Excel, CSV file. But there are ways to integrate that too. Our team can do that. We've done that before with some customers to help integrate different systems, but there's also a bunch of third-party tools out there that just kind of plug in and integrate Vault with your ERP. So, but what the enhancement is here is that it shows whether your BOM's out of date or not. So if you're using the BOM section to roll these out into your ERP and you see that your BOM's out of date, it means that a CAD file has changed and your BOM needs to be updated. So just gives you a little indicator there. You can search based on that, do a synchronize and update the bill of materials. A little more flexibility in the thin client. So again, this is only in the Pro side. Same with the BOM side. It's only in Vault Pro. But the thin client is really one of the reasons, one of the main reasons a lot of our customers choose to go for the Vault Pro. You only need like one Vault Pro license in order for everybody in the company to use just a regular browser and get into the thin client. Look at drawings, print off drawings, look at the bill of materials and stuff like that. So I would suggest, definitely the thin client is a great tool for extending the design team and sending that information out into other areas of your company. What they added here though is, so before, depending on what access you give, people to, you can show only released items or released versions. That was always in there. So if you check that box, they're not going to be able to see the work in progress stuff. And so if you're using this for a shop floor kind of viewer, that's typically a good idea. It depends on how much trust and, they may want to see what's coming down the pipeline. So kind of got to make sure they're educated, that if this is work in progress, it's not ready to build yet. We're just, we're giving you a heads up on it. Or you just lock it down and say, we're only showing you release files. But even there, if you only show release files, it'll typically show every revision. So they can see revision A, B, and C. Whereas if you only want to see, if you're on revision C, maybe you don't want them to see A and B to ever get confused there. So you can now check the latest version. And I think that was probably a customer request too. That's an option now. You check that box and you're only going to see released revision C and you don't see the previous one. So pretty minor deal there, but it's certainly something I think a lot of customers are going to appreciate. Okay, so let's see. This was actually introduced into 2018 as well. So like I mentioned, the processor is using, with the integration of Inventor server and the job processor now, should be able to complete these jobs faster. Really what the job processor was meant to do in the background was just update drawing views for the most part, but also synchronize properties. Now it creates PDFs as well. So they added that last version, the PDF generator. So if you weren't familiar with that, let me know. Like it's a pretty easy setup if you like PDFs better than DWFs. Yeah, and now they added the also the job processor does the shared views. What we're talking, yeah. Some of the other, the synchronization. They also added Solid Edge to the AnyCAD support. So within Inventor, if you have a supplier that sends you a Solid Edge file, you can put that into Inventor and reference it in assembly, just like you can with any of those other CAD tools. So I think Inventor is really one of the few that tries to play a little more nicely with some of these other CAD products. So you can put those files in there. You don't have to convert it. Now remember we added Fusion. You can add Fusion files into Inventor assemblies, reference it there. If you bring them in, they'll update the constraints and stuff. But then also Vault has to be able to handle that. So if you check that assembly into Vault, it's going to be able to keep tabs and know the relationships there between the Solid Edge files and your Inventor assembly. Last thing there is it shows there's an option there to show only the date without the time in AutoCAD title block. So before I think it showed both time and date. Okay, as far as the admin experience, they've added the ability to create your own role, create a whole custom role, and then just gives you what all the roles are. So there's all these different permissions. You can just plug and play, which permission. So if somebody uses change orders, you want them to have change order permissions, but maybe not full rights to change the Inventor files. Maybe it's somebody on the ME, the manufacturing side, where they just need to be able to approve stuff and look at the ECO and review it, stuff like that, add comments, but you don't necessarily want them to be able to modify documents. That'd be a kind of a special role you could create for them. A couple other things. It now supports Microsoft Report Viewer 2015. If that's something that you utilize for reports. Migrated all report templates to support the new version, and update the Vault client and Inventor add-in controls to use the new report viewer. So that's another update there, just to accommodate some of the changes there with Microsoft. Obviously, everybody's got to kind of keep up with the stuff that Microsoft does. Okay. So if you're using the Autoloader, a lot of times the Autoloader is more of a one-time deal when you first implement Vault. This is the tool that we use to bring data in. It does some checks on the data to make sure there aren't any broken references, stuff like that. So they added something in this, though. Now you can see the where used, which is pretty handy. So if I'm loading in a part, I need to see, okay, how many different assemblies is this used in and where are they at? Maybe that will help kind of identify, if one of those can be deleted. Maybe it helps you identify the master parts versus the copies. So that can be pretty handy there with that extra where used capability as you're autoloading stuff. And you can use this at any time. It's on every client machine when you install Vault. Underneath the tools, it's underneath the Autodesk Data Management, and then Tools, the Autoloader. So if you maybe you purchase a new product from a different company, you can just quickly autoload all those files into Vault using this tool instead of having an open check-in each assembly. All right, again, we kind of talked about this in the Inventor side as well, but make sure that you submit ideas in that the Vault Ideas section. So they appreciate that, the feedback. They don't always know what every single customer is dealing with as far as challenges. So any way Autodesk can improve that, they typically keep, and obviously go in there and vote those ideas up. The more votes you give it, the more chance it's got at actually getting implemented. Okay. All right, before we jump into questions, I'm just going to go into Vault here and I'll just show a couple of those things. First of all, let's take a look at the some of the capabilities here within Inventor as the Vault integration. So I'm just going to fire that open into Inventor. Notice over on the left here, I've got my assemblies checked out. A few of these parts, you know, this is with Vault Pro, you get the locks next to it telling us that part is released. But I do have two here. These are the pins that I wanted to change with this particular revision. So, and just maybe to kind of keep an eye on some of the other stuff, a nice way to do that, instead of going into the I properties on each individual thing, is to use the manage and then go to bill of materials. So now within here, and I guess I could add maybe let's go column chooser, let's put my file name in here so we can see that a little bit better. So we got part number. You can see some of these aren't populated there either, but the two pins are the ones that I wanted to change. So in order to change, we notice they're synchronized, so they're available for checkout because you see the white circle. They're not released, so they're work in progress, but I do need to check them out. So let's right-click here within the BOM manager, and obviously I like using the Vault browser for that too. So make sure you utilize that. And I guess in this case too, if I didn't have the Vault browser on, this is another way to see it and check them out. But so we hit checkout there. Now you can see the updated over there, and we can go over and actually update the, you know, the description, pin A, pin B. Maybe there's a stock number here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just update that information. We can hit done there, and then we save it. There my two files got saved, and we'll just check that in. So, the key thing there was, though, we can utilize the manage, the bill of materials function underneath manage, and be able to check stuff out and modify it right there. So not a whole lot of other stuff in that BOM, you know, tab is other than checkout, but that's sort of where you need it. I mean, you're going to check out. You can always check in then from here, or, you know, if you need to change the life cycle state and stuff like that. I mean, most of that's going to be in your right-click menu if you're on the Vault browser. Okay. So back into Vault, we'll refresh that, and now that's been updated here. But notice I do have an item associated with this, so that's where we, you know, can control the bill of materials, maybe manipulate it over there. So I'm just going to jump right to the item. If you hold Control here and click on that little link over on the right, it takes me right to the item. And you can see this item is actually, it's released over here. So the item is released. So in order to get my bill of materials updated, I'm going to have to do a, you know, change the state on that. But I also want to point out over here, it shows that it's out of date. So that's a nice search capability, or just, you know, to have the icon there, a nice visual that says, okay. And I just checked in that other file, so that you know, I knew my item was going to be out of date. So I guess the way to update that, we'd go, you know, change the state. Back to work in progress. And then we could do, let's see, update. And we'll save that. And now you can see the item is up to date again and current. So definitely, you know, like I said, I like the bill of materials side here. I would say, you know, it's around that 50% of our customers are actually utilizing that, just depending on their needs. But this bill of materials section, notice I'm in the item master, can be nice for, you know, not necessarily, maybe your CAD structure isn't always the appropriate way you want your bill of materials to be shown. So out here we can adjust that, add stuff, delete stuff on this bill, or maybe package it up a little bit differently. Like your manufacturing might, you know, assemble two components together, and you want that to be listed as a sub-assembly on your bill of material items. I mean, that's pretty common too. So you can adjust that here, and eventually then, you know, go out and export that out to, you know, out to your ERP system or whatever. So, okay. Now, as far as the project sync stuff goes, let's go back to, let's see here. I'm going to go to this spider lifter arm. there's a couple ways we can share data. So obviously this one, we've got the spider lifter arm through. We can take a look at the DWF, and maybe we want to, you know, consult or have a little bit of collaboration with somebody, maybe a supplier or customer, to make sure this is what they're looking for. So in order to send that out, you know, notice over here too, we just added, this is used the same Autodesk account that I used on the Inventor side. If you attended that session, remember I saved this frame out, the table frame out to the Autodesk viewer. So that shows up in my vault here too. So the way to kick those out, we can just right click, go share view, and we'll just leave it as spider lifter arm 3, spider lifter 3 arm, and go share. And that's going to generate another shared view. This one's got a few more components, maybe might take a little bit longer. But once that's ready, we'd see it here. We could create a, you know, copy the link for it, you know, email to somebody, or just go to our own Autodesk viewer and take a look at it there. And this is kind of processing a few different files here. So it's going to take just a little bit of time there. There we go. And I'm starting to process. So I can copy the link here, and maybe just, I don't have my email open, but you know, kick that over into an email, or just view it right in my browser here. But this is what you know, see with whoever you're collaborating it on with too. So a nice way to view, very realistic, I think. And again, you know, I like the ways to explode. Kind of cool to be able to kind of see. Oh, there we go. You know, certain pieces of this design. Okay. All right. Let's go back. We'll close that out. That should show up over here now too. So now we see our 3 items that we've shared out. So the other way to do it is to, you know, grab that lifter. We can go to Tools, and maybe we want to send it out to our Autodesk Drive account. So we go to File. Sorry, yeah, it wasn't Tools. It was File, and then Pack and Go. Here's all the items we can. I would say maybe leave them unzipped here. In fact, in order to see, so now there's our Autodesk Drive. So if I hit OK on this, it's going to kick all these parts as well as the IPJ file out to our Autodesk Drive account, so that somebody else can, if we give them access, download it, work on them, kick them back out to the drive again, and then we can synchronize back to Vault if necessary. So really expands the capabilities here. Not, you know, you don't have to have somebody else have Vault installed, you know, another license of Vault. This Pack and Go can be utilized for that kind of stuff. So if I just click on that, it's showing there's my Drive account. And then we can say, okay, where do we want to store that? Put it in the appropriate project folder. So maybe it's Project A. And so now it'll send those files out there. So I might have to get into my Drive account in order to show that, but I think for the sake of time here, we'll skip that process. Do want to also show underneath, okay, Tools, Administration, Vault Settings. Now we have this new Collaborate tab. So on the Collaborate side, here's your Edit and Manage Cloud Drive Mapping. We go Configure, and then you can set up a new project drive mapping here. And the thing is, I'm not seeing, I need to get my Fusion connector added in, and then you'll be able to see, because this only works right now anyway with the Fusion 360 cloud-based application. So that one does not do the same thing with Autodesk Drive. So if you want to just use Autodesk Drive, use the Pack and Go. But if you want to try out this project sync, you need to get the integration with Fusion 360. But it can work. Notice you can schedule the synchronization. Over here, you can just enable manual sync, so you can just hit sync, project sync when you needed to send out those to the customer. So pretty powerful to be able to, you know, just share those files back and forth to another cloud drive that others can access. All right. And let's see here. I was also going to show, so look at the BOM, item out of date. Oh yeah, the thin client. Let's pop that open. So, and again, so if you haven't used a thin client, obviously you need Vault Pro to be able to do it, but within any browser, I mean, Internet Explorer is still kind of the one that's more supported, but you just type in your server name and then Autodesk TC, and that takes you into the login interface. And we'll go over here, Vault, sign in. So you can utilize, just the folder structure. You can dig down into like that. There's some great search capabilities out here too, if you know the name of the folder. But what I was going to show is, typically if we look at, say, clamp, I know so I'm on revision C, but you can also see revision B and revision A. I'm actually working on so this one's showing work in progress there too. So maybe we want them to see revision B, but not revision A. So those settings can all be done by an administrator here on the settings side. So if we say only show release versions and only show the latest versions, and now hit done on that, now we're only seeing release revision B. So if it's a true production environment where you only, you want to lock that down. So if you're going to build this and go back and look at it, we only want them to see the one that's currently released and not have any confusion about what the previous revisions are. It depends on the company. A lot of times it's nice to let them be able to go back and, okay, what's different from revision A to B, look at both drawings to kind of get a better feel for what I need to do differently. But obviously a lot of times that goes into a revision block as well. So, but yeah, the thin client's great for just viewing, the components that go into a part, any parents above that. Like in this case, you'd see drawings as a parent, and then also, any of the properties. Again, you got the search capabilities, and then you can actually view within the, you can download the file, or if you allow it, or the visualization file and look at it in Designer View, or you can preview it over here into the kind of built-in online version of Designer View. The last thing, and I think we're running out of time. We're at about 11 here. So the last thing was the Autoloader. So with that, just that adds the we're using there. I think I'll leave it. I don't necessarily need to show that. If it's kind of but a nice addition there anyway. So I guess with that, I'll kind of leave it up. Are there any questions? And I'm looking at the, let's see here. I don't think any questions have been submitted. So if anything comes up, obviously in the future, feel free to send me an email on that. Thanks again for attending Applied Day today and the What's New for Vault. And again, coming up at 11 here in just a few minutes is the AnyCAD Fusion to Inventor workflow if you're interested in that. So have a great day.